Hello, good afternoon again. And as we've done previously, it's always been our intention to let islanders know any additional information as soon as I receive it. And today I'm returning to share another quick update on the number of cases in Prince Edward Island. There's now another confirmed positive case of COVID-19, bringing our total number of cases to 25. This case is Prince Edward Island's first case that's related to interprovincial travel. The individual is a man in his 50s. I spoke to him a few minutes ago. He's at home and doing well. Public health nursing has now initiated contact tracing. It's another example of why it's really important to self-isolate on return from international or interprovincial travel. And so it's a good time to re-emphasize that message. I will be available to answer questions as I usually do at my regular briefing tomorrow. And now I will turn it over to government officials after just saying a few words in French. Je viens d'annoncer un autre cas positif de COVID-19 ici à l'île du Prince-Édouard. Maintenant, il y en a 25 cas. C'est le premier cas à l'île du Prince-Édouard qui est relié au voyage dans les autres provinces du Canada. C'est un monsieur dans les cinquantaines et il est chez lui et tout va bien. Ils sont en train de faire de chercher ses contacts et d'avoir plus d'informations. Et puis, c'est une autre raison d'auto-isoler quand vous retournez du voyage dehors du pays ou entre les provinces. Je serai ici encore demain pour des questions et maintenant je vais retourner, maintenant laisser les autres officiaux du gouvernement. Merci.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm joined here with my colleagues to talk about family violence prevention. Minister Jameson, responsible for the status of women, and Minister Hudson, Minister of Social Development and Housing. These past few weeks have been incredibly difficult for us all. I appreciate Islanders' cooperation with Dr. Morrison's guidance. There is no question that these are challenging times and the actions go against our usual way of life. But we need to do this for the health and safety of our province. I'm not going to repeat what you hear every day, but I do want to talk about something that is a concern to me every single day. Violence exists in our communities. It did before the pandemic. It's there now, and there's a risk it's going to go up. And if I'm honest, it's going to be here after COVID-19. For those facing violence or even the risk of it, I can only imagine the stress you face. How much more pressure you are dealing with when normal routines are broken. There are so many reasons, especially now, that the risk of violence has increased. You might be wondering about your next paycheck, what financial aid is available. You're worried about yourself and your loved ones, how to support them, how to care for them. There's a lot of uncertainty. But I want you all to know we are still here, government and community. We can still help during these difficult times. I chair a special committee on family violence prevention. Our focus is to make sure you know our programs, our services, and supports, and we are still here for you. We say it often, and it is incredibly true for P.E.I. It takes a village to raise a family. Schools, sport team, and many activities held in communities. These are the extended support network who care for our children and our families. These people are not in our lives the same way now, but support is still available. Government programs and services are still available by phone, online, and email. The different divisions of justice and public safety works closely with others like social development and housing on resources, supports, and services for you. There's resources on co-parenting, custody access, and more. You can find those on our COVID-19 website under supports and services and under resources too. The staff of victim services are still available. They may be working from home, but they are still here for you. They can help with general questions, risk assessments, safety planning, and help you apply for emergency protection orders if that's what you need. These are some examples, and my colleagues will speak more about the direct support their departments offer. But the most important thing for those facing violence and the risk of it is to remember this: you are not alone. We are here for you. And if you are in a bad situation, call 911. Don't think twice. If you're in trouble, call them and they will help. One last thing, but an important thing. I want to say thank you to every single person who are on the front lines. Everyone in law enforcement, community and corrections staff, first responders, and countless others that are keeping us safe. I thank you. My family thanks you. Islanders thank you. Mr. Hudson.
Thank you, Minister Thompson, and good afternoon, everyone. I know we've said this a few times today, but I think it bears repeating. These are challenging times for Islanders. Time where, for many reasons, financial strain, close proximity, and uncertainty about your health and safety, emotions are heightened and there is added stress on families. Government and community are here to help you. As I've continued to reiterate, we've minimized contact, not supports. Our Special Cabinet Committee on Family Violence Prevention is working to ensure that our shared resources are made available for those in need, for women or men who need to leave a dangerous living situation, for parents who may be struggling with the added stress in their lives right now, and most importantly, for children who need a safe space to thrive. Family violence does not discriminate. It can affect anyone and can take many forms. During these difficult times, the chances are certainly heightened. As Islanders, we are here to support one another, to lift up our neighbors and friends and ensure that no person feels unsafe, unvalued, or unwanted. It's so important that those who are affected know they are not alone, know that there is help available, and know that they have allies. Staff of Child and Family Services in my department is still working on behalf of the safety and well-being of children. We encourage any parent that needs help to please reach out. There is a false perception out there that once child protection is involved, the child is taken out of the home and away from their family. This is only in extreme circumstances where the children are in serious danger. Our main goal is keeping children safe by offering support to parents, or, if necessary, what other family supports are available to the child so they can provide that safe, caring, healthy home. I want to remind all parents about the Positive Parenting Program. Triple P, as it is typically known, provides parents with techniques and strategies for handling parenting challenges. While in-person sessions are no longer available, Triple P is offered online, and the province of Prince Edward Island has purchased 150 additional licenses for the program to provide more parents with a program free of charge right now. The program is available in English and French, and each online session ranges from 30 to 60 minutes. Triple P is one of the most effective, evidence-based parenting programs in the world. And this week, Triple P launched a COVID-specific session for parents. Island parents interested in the program should visit triple-p-parenting.ca. Once again, triple-p-parenting.ca. To get the program for free, make sure to navigate to the Prince Edward Island specific page at the top of the homepage. Preventing family violence is the responsibility of all Islanders because it impacts all of us in some way, whether directly or indirectly. We should all be aware of the resources that are available in our communities to help prevent and address abuse and violence. I want to thank our essential frontline service providers, our social workers, youth workers, those individuals working in family violence prevention, operating our shelters, providing assistance to Islanders in need. I would encourage all Islanders to check out princeedwardisland.ca/family violence prevention for more information. Lastly, I want to remind Islanders that by law, you must contact Child Protection Services if you suspect a child is being abused or neglected by a parent or guardian. Child Protection will investigate to determine if supports or interventions are required. Sometimes children cannot speak for themselves or know how to reach out for help. We all need to be there for them. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We are living in a difficult situation where social isolation and social distancing are necessary to ensure safety for Islanders. People need to stay home as much as possible, but not every home is safe. Sometimes women need to leave to protect themselves and their children. It is important to know during these times help is available. There are still services for people who are experiencing violence. It is also important to know that if a woman and her children are directed to self-isolate, and if they go to Anderson House or the Chief Mary Bernard Memorial Women's Shelter to escape violence in the home, they will not be subject to fines for not complying with the direction to self-isolate. Both Anderson House and the Chief Mary Bernard Memorial Women's Shelter are currently accepting new residents. They have implemented new screening processes, and there are new guidelines for keeping shelter residents and staff safe. To those experiencing domestic violence and gender-based violence, speak to someone you trust and seek help. You are not alone in this. If you or someone you know needs help, you can contact the Anderson House. Outreach services are still available across the province, and calling the crisis line is the best way to get connected to outreach. This number is toll-free, it's anonymous, and it's confidential. Women can also contact the Chief Mary Bernard Women's Shelter. The P.E.I. Rape and Sexual Assault Centre is still accepting new clients of all genders. Staff are working remotely, and services are being delivered through video conferencing and by phone. To request counseling services, please reach out. You can also find all of this information online at www.princeedwardisland.ca/family violence prevention. I would like to close by thanking everyone who continues to provide essential services to keep families safe during this difficult time. COVID-19 brings more challenges to what can already be stressful work. I want to acknowledge the incredible job everyone is doing. Thank you so much.
Mr. Jameson and Minister Hudson, for your remarks. I guess we'll take questions from the media.
Nicole Williams, CBC.
Yes, hi there. My question is: has there been an increase in reports of family violence since, I guess, physical distancing and self-isolation orders have come into effect?
No, we haven't seen an increase, but we are well aware that there is a possibility, and this messaging is to get out there to hopefully prevent some of that. And if it is happening, that it is reported, and it is we do have the supports in place. So it's more we're getting out front of this, and we really want to make sure that everyone knows that the supports are still in place, even though we're in a COVID-19.
Thank you. And I guess my next question is, what do these new protocols or policies look like at shelters because of COVID-19?
Mr. Hudson, would you like to address that?
Thank you. What we have, as you're aware of, is the Blooming House Shelter, as well as Bedford McDonald. And there are protocols in place there with regard to social distancing, as well, both of those facilities, in the event that there was a requirement for self-isolation. Both of them have rooms that are designated for that purpose. The other thing, too, as you're aware of it, we do have the Outreach Center that was moved from 211 Euston Street to Birchwood School. So it comes down to working with those partners, making sure that they have the supports in place that they do need at this difficult time.
Thank you. Steve Bruce, CBC.
Hey there, everyone. A question for Minister Thompson. Can you talk about how the province is handling complaints of workplaces that aren't following physical distancing rules? Have there been many of these complaints and investigations or any charges as a result?
Well, every complaint goes through Department of Dr. Heather Morrison's department, and they are all being followed up on by the conservation officers. And I don't have the breakdown of the exact numbers, but every one of them has been that has been reported has been is being dealt with or being addressed.
And just more generally, with people not self-isolating or gathering in large groups, has anything changed there with the level of calls coming in or the amount of enforcement around that?
I don't have the exact numbers, but the warnings have definitely increased. I think they've visited over 100 homes so far now, with the increase of either written warnings or verbal warnings, and then they're being followed up on. So we're hoping this works, but they are prepared to lay charges.
Okay, thanks so much.
Rachel Collier, Eastern Graphic. Rachel Collier, Eastern Graphic. Stu Neatby, The Guardian.
Hi, good afternoon to everyone. Just wondering if it is known in the last month how many emergency protection orders have been filed, and if I guess everything is still a go with the process for filing those if they're needed.
Mr. Hudson, do you want to address that?
I don't have the exact numbers, Stu. I could endeavor to get that to you. Yes, the same process would be in place. So.
Okay. And I guess, while I have you here, Minister Hudson, I suppose I wonder if I could get an update on the, I've forgotten the name of it, the shelter subsidy, how many applications and accepted disbursements there have been for that program announced last week.
Okay, I believe you'd be referring, Stu, to the temporary rental assistance program benefit?
That's the one, yeah.
Yes, okay. To date, there have been 585 applications submitted. There have been 3 that have been sent for payment. And Stu, I am glad that you did bring that up, actually, because one of the things that I do want to emphasize is just how important it is with those applications when they are submitted to make sure that all of the documentation that is required on the application is submitted as well. It will certainly expedite the processing times and the turnaround times on them so that staff don't have to go back out requesting additional information. Presently, we do have 14 housing staff plus 3 staff from other departments that are working on the processing of those applications.
Thank you.
Carrie Wynn McLeod, Ocean 100.
Good afternoon, ministers. My first question, I guess, would be for Minister Hudson. I know that on the weekend, the Government of Canada announced, I think it was over $207 million that they were contributing to support the organizations across the country that would see increasing needs they're facing, at this time with regards to homelessness for some or family violence, women fleeing. Do we have any idea how much of that money would be coming this way for Prince Edward Island?
I thank you for that question. I don't have the exact dollar amounts right in front of me. We can certainly get that for you. But as I understand, the information that I had received earlier this afternoon is that the federal government is in the process that there will be signing agreements with the organizations that are going to be delivering the funds. Just for example, one of those organizations here in the province is the John Howard Society that will be delivering funds on the island with regard to the homeless initiative that the federal government has announced, and that it's anticipated that those funds will be flowing the first of next week.
And if that's, the case for that funding, then, Minister, so would people fleeing a violent situation in their home, and perhaps maybe the shelters are over capacity, would they then qualify for some of that homelessness funding as well?
Well, the present situation that we have, as I believe that I had mentioned before, is with regard to Blooming House, Anderson House, Bedford McDonald House. If and when any of those facilities should get to a point of complete capacity, we have other facilities, and certainly I don't want to go into the location of them, but we do, as at the provincial level, have made planning and have plans in place, have facilities, homes in place, so that once if that should take place, that again, Anderson House, Blooming House, Bedford McDonald get past their occupancy, that we do have backup in place.
Okay, thanks. Good to know. Thank you.
Add to that, Carrie Wynn, Canada has committed an additional $40 million to assist women fleeing violence. So $26 million of that is going to fund 575 violence against women shelters across the country, $4 million for sexual assault centers, and $10 million for Indigenous shelters on reserve. So we are very much looking forward to hearing more details on how those funds will be provided to P.E.I. very shortly.
Super. Thanks so much, Minister Jameson.
François-Pierre Dufault, Radio-Canada. François-Pierre Dufault, Radio-Canada. Laurent Rigaud, La Voix acadienne.
Yes, good afternoon. My question is a little bit the same as the previous one. I heard that 6 hotel rooms have been booked in Charlottetown and around to increase the capacity for to help the women who need to be safe. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? And is there any place elsewhere on the island which has been secured like that?
Yes. Yes, presently there are 5 families who are being housed in hotels in the greater Charlottetown area. Again, I'm not going to give any specifics on that, but certainly my department, working in conjunction with other departments, have reserved hotel rooms across the province so that if and when that we do get to that point, that we have them readily available.
Thank you.
I guess that's everything, and I'd like to thank everyone, and please stay safe.